So what are the other principles applied insofar as medical or forensic medicine? Okay, so first thing first, the basic principles governing, okay, application and effects of laws. You have what you call ignorantia leges nominen excusat, or ignorantia leges non excusat, or the ignorance of the law excuses no one. So what is the idea? Well, it can prevent use as defense in violation, meaning, okay, if a medical legal officer will testify in the court, okay, it will not be a good defense for him to say that he does not know about the, we call it the medical legal examination, or he is not proficient in doing that. Okay, that's why in that case ay masisira yung kaso sa kayong reputation nila. So ang gagawin ng mga medical legal officers ay they have to train so that they will not become ignorant of the law. They will not become ignorant of the medical legal procedures in handling cases involving violent deaths or violent crimes against person. And again, we go back to we call it to our basic premise in criminal law, that law shall have no retroactive effect if that is unfavorable to the suspect. If it is favorable to the suspect, it will have retroactive effect. Okay, so ganun din sa medical legal examination. Dapat alam ng mga medical legal experts yung kanilang argumentation sa court. So sabihin nila na kailangan naming i-present tong evidence na ito, kahit yung evidence na ito ay matagal na ito, no? Dahil meron siyang retroactive effect sa akusado, it will be favorable to that person. Just like, say, for example, in fingerprint examination, there were so many cases in America and other countries nung wala pang DNA, fingerprinting, or wala pang tinatawag na DNA identification. So maraming wrongly convicted na mga tao because ang pinagbasehan lang sa kanilang mga conviction or identification was the alleged fingerprint taken at the crime scene that allegedly belongs to them. Okay, but eventually, years after they were incarcerated, so the introduction of DNA came in. Okay, and ngayon, ang tanong, yung advantage ng DNA examination ba ay meron retroactive effect sa mga allegedly wrongly accused or wrongly convicted people? Yes, there is, if the findings that can be shown by the DNA is favorable to the suspect or to the accused, meron siyang retroactive effect. Kaya may mga kasong ganun sa Amerika na noong na-establish na ang DNA testing, so nag-avail sila ng forensic experts sa DNA para examine yung mga other pieces of evidence, and eventually, it turned out na sila ay exonerated sa kaso. So in that case, merong retroactive effect yung DNA or yung bagong science. Kasi nga, favorable siya doon sa suspect or sa accused. Rights may be waived in the investigation. Rights may be waived. We have discussed that earlier on in the introduction of this topic or the subject. Rights may be waived unless the waiver is contrary to law, public order, public policy, morals, or good customs, or prejudice to a third person with a right recognized by the law. So what does it mean by that, class? No? Ano ang ibig sabihin yan? Okay. So ganito yung class. So ano ba yung rights ng mga yan? Right to remain silent or right against self-incrimination. So sabi natin, pwedeng i-waive mga yon or pwedeng hindi gamitin. Okay? Pero yung pag-waive mo dapat ay with the consent of the suspect. At the same time, it is written in writing and done in the presence of the lawyer preferred or chosen by the suspect. Okay? Sabi niya, hindi pwedeng ma-waive or hindi pwedeng gamitin yung kanyang right kung yung waiver niya ay contrary to law. Ano yon? Ito yung the extrajudicial confession was taken by juries, no? Or under control yung tao or under compulsion yung tao. Diba? Or nag-waive siya, okay? Pero hindi siya sinamahan ng kanyang lawyer. Or yung kanyang waiver ay it may be contrary to law or to public order or to public policies, morals, or others. Okay? So yun ang mga tinatawag nating mga reasons na hindi pwedeng i-waive yung paggamit ng waiver ng isang akusado or isang suspect. What are the other principles in law that can be used by a medical expert or medical legal expert? Customs which are contrary to law, public order or public policy shall not be countenanced. Ano yon? Okay? Kapag may kultura tayo or customary tayo na kumukontra sa batas, ay hindi natin dapat ito na kumbaga, hindi natin ito susuportahan kasi nga contrary sa batas. Ano yon? Say for example, may mga tribo na ang customary nila ay pwedeng mag-asawa ng as young as 13 years old or 12 years old. Well, that is a custom that is basically contrary sa ating family code. So, dapat 'yon ay tinatawag natin hindi susuportahan. 'Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay, say for example, yung may mga tribo na sinicircumcise pati babae, no? May mga ganon. Now, assuming yun ang kanilang customary, and if that is contrary to law, then dapat yun na hindi suportahan. Yun ang mga idea ng tinatawag nating customs which are contrary to law, public order, public policy shall not be countenanced. Okay? Say for example, may isang tribo na kapag yung namatay, ang gagawin nila ay puputulin yung ulo at iuwi sa bahay yung ulo, remembrance. That is contrary to law. Hindi yan papayagan ng batas natin. Laws are repealed by subsequent ones, and their violation or non-observance shall not be excused by disuse, custom, or practice to the contrary. What is that? Laws are subjected for amendments. Laws are subjected to be repealed. Okay? So in other words, pag sinabing ni-repeal niya, wala nang effect yung batas na yon. Yung bagong batas na ang susundan mo. Parang ganon. Say for example, it will go with it with the retroactive effect ng batas natin. Ano? Just like Presidential Decree 1866, yung ating firearms law. Okay? So dati, 17 years imprisonment ang mahulian ng unauthorized possession of firearm. Ngayon, less than 4 years na siya. Okay? So anong i-apply mo? Yung bagong batas ang i-apply. Huwag mong i-apply yung lumang batas. Okay, so with that in mind, ng mga medical legal expert, so while they are recovering pieces of evidence during the conduct of postmortem examination and conduct of autopsy, okay, or during the conduct of death investigation, so ano yung mga possible medical evidence na pwede nilang makuha? Again, evidence as defined by law is any means sanctioned by the rules of court, okay, in ascertaining in a judicial proceeding the truth respecting a matter of fact. Ano yon? Okay, so it is a means, meaning ito yung kaparaanan. Ito yung kaparaanan na sanctioned by the rules of court, meaning ito yung mga nire-recognize ng batas. Kaya nga meron tayong mga doctrine of poisonous tree or the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. Meron tayong mga exclusionary rule, yung mga hindi pwedeng gamitin na mga ebidensya sa batas. So therefore, ang isang medical legal practitioner, okay, whenever he recovers or identifies, okay, medical evidence, he has to consider whether the means na ginamit niya ay tama, na ayon sa batas. Kaya ito, it is the means related to medical science. So, pwedeng blood, pwedeng semen, pwedeng body tissue, whatever. Okay? At gusto niyang ipakita sa korte, kailangan susundin pa rin ni medical legal expert yung protocol. Yung can you force a person, okay, to give his blood specimen? Pwede mo siyang puwersahin provided yung pagkuha mo ay proper. 'Di ba? Kasi bakit pwede mong puwersahin na bigyan ka ng kanyang blood specimen? Okay? merong right na violate. Walang right na violate kasi that is just a mechanical action provided na kung pinersa mo siya, nakuha na ng blood specimen, proper yung pagkuha. Hindi yung pinilit mong kuhanan ng blood specimen, ginilitan mo yung leg, kuha ko ng blood sample, turo mo sa leg. Hindi yung proper. Diba? Kailangan yung proper. Although pinersa mo, proper yung pagkuha mo. So, eventually, the means that you did in collecting that evidence is sanctioned by the rules of court. Therefore, later on, pwedeng maging admissible as evidence in the court. So, kapag ang criminal investigator ay iniisip niya na mga ebidensyang makukuha niya ay dapat sinasaklaw ito ng criminal procedure natin o rules of court natin, ganun din si medical legal expert. Okay? Kailangan din na, kumbaga, sundin din niya yung protocol sa pagkuha ng medical evidence so that hindi masayang yung kanyang mga evidence na nakuha sa katawan ng tao. So ano yung types of physical evidence? So parehas lang. Kung di nyo patapos ang law on criminal evidence, ito ang mga yon. Papag-aralan nyo sa criminal law and evidence later on. Yung mga autoptic or real evidence, optic, di ba? Optic meaning yung nakikita. Okay? Kaya yung mga nahahawakan, naririnig, naamoy, those are real evidence. Yan. They can be subjected to our senses. Testimonial, these are oral under oaths. Okay? So pwede si witness or pwede si suspect or si victim na magbigay ng testimonial evidence. Na yung testimonial evidence is related to the, we call it, to the medical evidence that are gathered in the crime scene. Say for example, yung usapin sa Calbayog Mayor na pinaputukan, no? Sabi ng mga pulis sa likod, pinaputukan daw sila na pagkamalan, nag-retaliate lang daw sila. So papag-aralan ngayon yung mga injuries ng mga katawan ng mga biktima, okay, to determine yung mga trajectory ng mga bala, and later on, okay, yan ay pwedeng ibigay ni medical legal officer sa korte as a testimonial evidence. At the same time, yung kanyang findings at saka yung kanyang conclusion. Yun ang kanyang magiging testimonial evidence. Experimental evidence, result of scientific examination, assuming sinususpect nila na yung biktima ay more or less or most likely was poisoned. At anong klaseng poison? So i-autopsy yung katawan, titignan nila, nag-discolor ba yung mga liver niya, nag-discolor ba yung kanyang mga yung isang kanyang heart, isa lang pala yung heart niya, yung kanyang heart, okay? So titignan nila ngayon, then kakandat ng experiment na kapag ganitong poisoning, ganitong mangyayari, di ba? So that could be experimental evidence or documentary evidence. Ito ngayon yung mga result ng medical examination. Okay? They could serve as documentary evidence insofar as legal medicine is concerned. Okay? Yan. So further, the medical legal expert, just like a criminal investigator, must be able to get evidence that are what you call convincing evidence. Napaka-convincing siya. Okay, ito yung mga tinatawag nating relevant evidence. Those direct evidence that directly proves the facts in issue. Okay, na yung weapon niya ay yun talaga nakuha sa crime scene na nagmarka doon sa katawan ng suspect. Kung yan ay knife, kung yan ay bolo, kung yan ay scissor or whatever pointed instrument. Okay, so direct evidence, these are evidence that proves the fact in dispute directly as contrary sa indirect evidence or yung circumstantial evidence. Ito yung mga direkta na nagpapatunay sa pangyayari without the necessity of any inference or presumption, and which is true, conclusively establish the fact. Okay? So, ito yung tinatawag nating prima facie evidence na talagang direkta na pinapatunayan na yung injury ay caused by a firearm. Hindi siya caused ng any other weapon. Circumstantial or indirect evidence, they are evidence that tends to establish the fact in dispute by proving another fact, which though true does not itself conclusively establish the fact, but which affords an inference or presumption of its existence. Say for example, nakita yung bangkay. Okay, so walang nakakita sa actual killing. So, circumstantial evidence papasok. Sinong last niyang kausap? Okay? At sino yung unang nakakita ng kanyang bangkay? Okay? At meron bang mga medical evidence na nakuha sa crime scene na it will indirectly prove? Say for example, nakakuha ng blood stain sa crime scene. It turned out the blood stain belongs to the suspect. Is that a direct evidence or circumstantial evidence? Diba? Yan. So, pwede siyang maging direct evidence because it will directly prove to the fact that the suspect was at the crime scene when the crime was committed. Or indirect because it may give an assumption that he was at the crime scene when the crime was committed because nagiging indirect siya because kailan na ilagay yung blood doon? Was it placed before the commission of the crime or after the commission of the crime? So, magiging indirect din siya. But somehow, kapag may mga other circumstantial facts, then it may be sufficient to prove the facts in issue. Circumstantial or direct evidence also, it relates to a series of facts. So, series of facts. Okay, nakita yung kanyang blood stain sa crime scene. Nakita pa siya before the crime scene, no? Before the crime was committed, near the crime scene. And he was seen leaving the crime scene, okay, moments after the commission of the crime. So those are the circumstances that may indirectly point that the suspect was indeed the perpetrator of the crime. And these are circumstances having been found by experience associated with that fact in the relation of cause and effect to lead to the satisfactory conclusion. Meaning, pag pinagtagpi-tagpi mo, ay magkakaroon ka ng satisfactory conclusion na siya nga yung pumatay at nang rape sa suspect. Diba? Pag yung semen ng suspect nakita sa sex organ ng babae, so that is a direct evidence, hindi siya indirect, di ba? So, how do we process now evidence? Just like what we discussed. First, documentation of the crime scene by photography, by sound recording, by video recording, by sketching, and others. And then, describe the evidence na na-recover. Bakit kailangan ma-describe mo yan? So that later on, when you present that in the court, pwede mong ma-describe. Sabi mo, Your Honor, I recovered a black or a pistol with the serial number 123456 with a black grip or metal plated grip. So mga yun. So pwedeng ilagay mo sa description mo dun sa evidence. And of course, finally, yung testimony na mga witnesses ay dapat makuha rin. Okay. So again, how do you preserve? You can use photography, by videotape, by photocopy, by sketching, by description, by mannequin method. Alam niyo mannequin method, class? Okay? So yung paggamit ng mga mannequin and then ilalagay nila yung mga, kunyari, mga gun wounds or sa mga shotgun wounds sa kanyang katawan or gunshot wounds. And then of course, it can be preserved in the mind of the witnesses by, we call it memory. And there are some methods, just like in medical profession, medical legal, so pwedeng ipa-imbalsal mo para ma-preserve yung katawan ng tao. Para hindi maagnas at merong panahon na ma-ocular inspect yung katawan ng tao. Merong mga ganong bagay, class, no? In ocular inspection, hindi lang crime scene, pati yung morgue, ay nagkakandak sila ng ocular inspection para the court can see for themselves kung ano nga yung itsura ng biktima. Okay. So with that, in the presentation of evidence, mayroong dalawang klase ng witnesses, the expert and the ordinary. The expert, of course, like the medical legal officers, the medical examiners, the forensic ballisticians, the forensic dactyloscope expert, and question document, din ang mga expert witness. Because their opinion, okay, is related to their science or art or trade, no, yung trabaho nila, in which they are considered as skilled in that particular function. And ordinary witnesses, yung walang training, you are just relating to the court, kung ano yung nakita mo, anong narinig mo, yan, anong naamoy mo, yun lamang ang ordinary witness. Pero sa expert witness, kailangan ay pinapatunayan mo na expert ka sa field mo at yung findings mo ay totoong yon ang sinasabi ng science.